In this video tutorial, we are going to be drawing this object with the circles and trim tool. So you notice there are multiple different ways you could draw this object. I did link another video here with arcs and mirrors. So we drew just this portion of it, and then we mirrored it across, mirrored all of that down to here. Some people will do it that way. Some people would rather do it with circles and then trim. So you can kind of see the whole entire outside. It's just a bunch of arcs, which if they were complete would be circles. So this does get a little bit confusing because there's a lot of things overlapping. So I will try my best to kind of cut some of that stuff down, and then it'll be not as difficult to see. So I'm going to pull this to the side, and in SolidWorks I'm going to start by making a new part file, changing my units to IPS, going up to the Sketch tab, selecting the Sketch tool, and drawing on the front plane. So instead of drawing the inside pieces first, I'm actually going to kind of place some of the outside circles. So with your circle tool selected, move to the left of the origin, let it kind of project across, click to place, and draw kind of a medium-sized circle. Then a little bit into the right, we're going to click again, and this time it's going to be a larger circle. Then above the origin, we'll make a circle, and below the origin, we'll make a circle. Now, we're going to make these two same circles over here on the left, or over on the right. So, to the right of your origin, make a larger circle, and then kind of a medium-sized circle next to it. So you can tell this is already getting a little bit confusing. So these outside circles, this one and way over here, I'm going to set to equal. So I held in Shift and I selected both of them and I set them to equal. I'm going to do that same thing for the top and bottom. And then same thing for these. Now I also can kind of see on my picture, my activity, there is a center line that runs all the way through these, meaning they're all lined up right through the origin. So they are all horizontal with one another. This arc and this arc up here also run right through the origin. So if you're confused of what those circles were that I just drew, I actually drew this right here, this one right here, which continues to be this, and then the top and bottom, and same thing on the other side. We drew this, which is this, and then this outside. Okay, so let's go ahead and align these so that they're straight through the origin. So instead of selecting the circle, you're going to select its center point, hold in Shift, click the other center points, the origin, and the other two center points. And we're going to make this horizontal. Then you can click off, and we can start by clicking the center point of the top circle, holding in Shift, our origin, and the bottom circle. And we're going to make those vertical. So now they are all kind of lined up. So since this is arcs at the very end, you will see in your picture a lot of radiuses, not the complete circle. So you have to remember, if we are doing the complete circle here, we have diameter. Radius is half of the diameter. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing. You have to do kind of some math here. But to place these in place first, let's go ahead and get our dimension tool. And this mark here, or this center mark, all the way to the other center mark on the opposite side, that is a total of 7.5 away. So if you're wondering how I got those, by looking at this picture, we can see that this measurement goes to the center of this circle and the center of this circle. Well, you're probably asking, yeah, but we're drawing this outside. Keep in mind, this measurement for the outside is coming from that center. So this circle and the arc on the outside are concentric. So then again, we have a measurement from the big circle to the big circle. That is a total of 3.38. And from the top circle to the bottom circle, that is a measurement of 3.5. So it kind of moves some of that stuff. What you are probably also wondering is, well, how do we know how far it is from here to here? Okay, well that is going to be half of these measurements. So I'm going to select the center of this circle and my origin. I'm going to move my mouse down and click, and I'm going to simply type in 3.38/2. Let SOLIDWORKS figure out that math. Okay, so you notice now it's even here to here. Same thing again. We're going to click the outside and the origin, and this is going to be 7.5/2. Let me move some of these out so it's not as confusing here. You can see what's going on. Okay, then same thing here. We're going to go from the top circle to our origin, and that's going to be 3.5/2. Okay. So now all those circles are placed, but now we need to put in their size. So remember, they are all set to equal, so we only really have to dimension 3 of these. So let's do this circle on the far left, and since we are in diameter, it is double the radius. The radius says it is 1, so that means the diameter has to be 2. For this big circle here, it has a radius of 2, so the diameter is 4. And then the one at the top, it has a radius of 1.2 or 1.12, so it has to be double that. If you can do that in your head, you know it is 2.24, but you could also type in 1.12 asterisk 2. So notice SOLIDWORKS likes the asterisk for multiply, not an X. So it's the same thing, 2.24. So now that all of these are placed, now we can go ahead and trim a whole bunch of this. So we're going to get our trim entities, set it to trim to closest, and here you have to make sure you trim anything that overlaps on the inside. So you still want this zigzaggy shape on the outside. So there is a lot to trim. Okay, so now we have this kind of big bubbly cloud looking shape on the outside. Then we are going to use our sketch fillet, and here we're going to set this measurement to a radius of 5, and we're going to try to fillet there, here, same thing over here, and same thing down here. And it's okay if you're getting those warnings. It's just asking you, because this is kind of bent in, if you actually want it to bend out. And yes, we do. So we have 4 spots. Then you can hit the green check. Notice it made all of those tangent, and it's consistent. It goes right into the next one. Now we need to do these inside 4. So that measurement is a radius of 1.12. 1.12. And you're going to get those warnings again. Just keep clicking through them. So all 4 spots. Then you can hit the green check. Now the outside is done. Now we can just draw the circles on the inside. And we have the center points for all of those. So the center point up here, the center point over there, down at the bottom, and on our left. The nice thing is for these big circles in here, they share the same center point as these other ones as well. So large circle, large circle. We can get off our circle tool, and we can set all 4 of the small ones on the outside to equal. So I'm holding in Shift and selecting all of them. Set those to equal, and then do the same thing for the 2 inside ones. Set those to equal as well. Go ahead and dimension these. Dimension the small circle first. And the small circle has a diameter of 0.75. The big circle has a diameter of 2.75. So now it's fully defined. We can go over to the Features tab, select Extrude Boss Base, and it has a material thickness of 0.35, and it has a negative Z. So that means we are going to have to reverse our direction to make sure this is going backwards. So make sure your arrow here, you might have to zoom in because of all the relations, is pointing backwards. Then you can hit the green check, change the material, which is 1350 alloy. That is not a preset, so we're going to have to hit Edit Material. And it's not a steel, it's actually an aluminum. So scroll down to the aluminum folder, find 1350 alloy, hit Apply and Close. Then you can evaluate this and mass properties, and you should get a mass of 0.66 with a negative Z. If you got that, you can save this as the assignment name and you can move on to the next activity. If you didn't get that, go back in, edit your sketch or edit your extrusion until you have it complete.